Hey everybody, in this video we're going to be covering a reverse punch. This is a traditional strike from a Taekwondo background, so we're going to go at it from a traditional standpoint. We're going to start in a walking stance, so our toes are forward and maybe even slightly turned in. From here, our knees are both bent, our weight is centered between our feet. We don't want to be weight forward or weight back. We want to be centered here. Hips are tucked, no ducktails. Body is erect, okay? From here, we are going to be using our rear hand. Anytime you hear reverse in a Taekwondo or traditional martial arts context, it usually means that you're using the rear hand. Doesn't mean that it's moving backwards, it just means you're using the rear hand. When I say rear hand, I mean the one that's farthest away from your opponent when you're in that walking forward or fighting stance. Okay, when we do our reverse punch, a couple of things need to happen. Number one, we need to have our toes forward. Number two, our hips have to lead the arm when it comes to the punch. So things are going to happen in a certain order. Our hands are going to start in our guard position here. From here, our hip moves first, our shoulder then rolls forward, our hand rotates and then extends out. Now, it's important that you understand that our shoulder doesn't rotate so far as to be offline. Instead, we want to make sure that it rotates just enough that we make an equilateral triangle with our arm and our shoulders. That means the distance between our two knuckles here and this shoulder is the same as the distance between our two knuckles here and this shoulder. In order to do that, we have to keep our shoulders square. If they're slightly bladed, they're slightly turned in our fighting stance, then as we complete the hip rotation and the shoulder push, then we're going to end up in that position. Notice that my hand is not up here at my face or shoulder level. It's down here, about level with my patch. That's where my solar plexus would be, okay? My xiphoid process here. That's the cartilage at the end of your sternum. We're aiming for the diaphragm to push that up and in. So from here, I'm striking forward, boom. Also notice that my feet don't move. I'm not pivoting. I'm not stepping, I'm not sliding, I'm staying in this position locked to the floor so I get great leverage all the way through my hips, down in through my heels and into the floor. What you'll notice though is that my rear leg from this fully bent position almost locks because I want to use all of the muscles here. I'm pushing down through the floor with my heel. I'm using my hamstring, my glute, my lower back, my hip rotation, my core muscles, and the shoulder and arm muscles to impart power to the end of my fist. This is an incredibly powerful strike, particularly when you combine it with a pulling hand on the lead hand. So if I'm going to strike Mr. Bob here, say I want to strike him right here in the solar plexus, I'm not stepping, I'm starting close enough that I can reach out and touch him with my hand flat, okay, at my target area. If my hand is fully extended here, then I'm going to have to reach with this punch, which puts my head outside of my hip area, which means that I'm off balance. So I want to be close enough that I can put my hand flat. From here, maybe I'm grabbing and pulling to the hip. Maybe this hand is just maintaining a guarding position. From here, I rotate the hip, rotate the shoulder, rotate the fist, extend forward, and stop. Your punch should not extend farther than you can reach without turning your shoulders. You should be able to strike the target and extend about 1 to 2 inches into the target without rotating your shoulder too far forward, without losing that equilateral triangle. From here, strike. Immediately, your strike should return either to the hip, depending on your application, or to that guarded position. You don't want to strike, drop, and then return. It should strike and come straight back, or strike and come straight back. All right, there is your reverse punch. Make sure you're hitting with those front two knuckles. Your wrist is in great alignment, and your whole body moves as a unit.